Kasiv Vayedaber Elokim Eis Kol Hadvarim. Now, if you look in the narrative of Mount Sinai, 1 second.
Thank you.
Let's get a chumash here.
842.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a little bit of a strange narrative. If you'll notice, this is already talking whether everybody is, the scene is everybody's at the foot of Sinai, right? Moshe goes up, Hashem tells them, listen, this is the deal, in 3 days' time I'm going to come down, everybody's got to prepare themselves, make sure nobody comes near the mountain, right? And Moshe goes down, he warns everybody, he goes up again, Hashem tells him again, make sure nobody comes near the mountain. What, you told me that. I told him. I got him to do that. Again. Okay? Because you understand, when Hashem is going to appear at Mount Sinai, who knows what could happen. Right? Okay? Right? So basically, the people are going to get so taken in by the light and the experience, you have to double warn them. Okay? So here in Parshas Yisro, it says, Vaydaber Elokim Eis Kol Hadavarim Ha'ele Lemor, and just before the Ten Commandments. Okay? So Moshe comes down to the people and says to them, right? Meaning the voice spoke, God spoke all these statements, saying, and then we start the Ten Commandments. Okay? I'll pass this around that you can just look. This is just like, here's the beginning. God spoke all these statements. Why the first place, if you look at the statement, it says all these things. Okay? It just could have said, God said. And then you start with the Ten Commandments, I am Hashem your God. I'm going to show you right now, sir. Okay? You can check this out. Okay, so I'm going to start right here. And it was written, God spoke. Okay? So it says, and God spoke. God spoke, right? What does it mean by spoke? Right? Daber. So it says to proclaim words. God spoke to proclaim words. What is my Hebrew here? Vayedaber. Begin la'azkara milim, because he is going to mention words. The Tana, because what? What is it? What do we mean by that? It teaches. B'shata dekucha brichu is galei, in the time that the Holy One, blessed be He, became revealed. B'share lemalala, and he began to speak. Ilayin v'tatayin is chal chalu. Meaning the upper and the water began to shake. So he says here, began to shake.
Those above and below tremble, and the souls of Israel.
He says, Malachim ha'elyonim u'bnei adam ha'tachtonim nizda'azu. Right? They all shook. In other words, the upper angels also shook. Not the angels were chilling. Everything, when Hashem spoke. V'navku nishmosehim to Israel, and the souls of Israel left. They went out because of the great shaking. V'ta'ana hahu mila hava ta'as, and that word floated from above to below. They just won't leave me alone, will they? Catch this line. Hi, Yochanan. Listen, I'm teaching. I'm in the middle of a class right now. Bye-bye. Okay. But nafkunish moseichen. So as we know, and everybody else knows, also everybody has learned this all the time. That every time that when God spoke, the souls of the Jewish people flew out. Okay. The thing that was interesting to note here, that it is handed down to us, that when it says this verse, and God spoke all these words, really it is taught that in one utterance God had all of the 10 Commandments in one utterance. So really, if you really want to know But there were 3 utterances that we heard directly. 3 utterances. One was all of them in one, and that was completely incomprehensible. 10 of the commandments said to you in one shot. Incomprehensible. And then it was laid out to us, and the first commandment, which was, actually was first Dibra, which was, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God. And then they died, and then were brought back to life, as we're going to see, and then the second commandment. So we learn from this that all of the 10 divrot, we don't call them commandments, right? You've heard this before? It's not called 10 commandments. It's called Aseret HaDivrot, which is the 10 words, okay? They flew above and below, okay? That means from Bina to Malchut. Umizgalfan be'arba ruchei la'alma. And they were engraved in the 4 directions of the world. Right? In order that each and every word will be filled from every single aspect. One of the 4 aspects, meaning the 4 aspects of creation. Or what we will call Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferes, and Malchut. And here he just says the Arba Bechinot. V'salka, it went up. V'nachta, it went down. Right? In other words, this one word that God spoke, flew all around in the 4 directions of the world. Kad salcha ishtava miture da'afar samona. Dachya. When it went up, what happened? His language is? It was absorbed by mountains of pure balsam. Okay? Yeah, we go by the mountains of pure balsam all the time, don't we? Right? What are the mountains of pure balsam? It's a spiritual realm. But obviously there's a scent there. And infused with that dew from above. So the word flew up to the mountains of balsam, and it drew from the dew that it is above. That means it became filled from the wisdom of Tal, that is called above, that in the future the Kodesh Baruch Hu is to revive the dead. Okay? That's the famous Tal. If you look at the word Tal, is 2 letters, Tet and Lamed. And also, if you add up the numerical value, it is 39. 39. Okay? Lamed Tet, if you switch the letters, it's not good. But Tal, we need Tal. It brings down that we pray for Tal during the summer. But the biggest thing is when we say Morid HaTal, we say it in the second prayer of the Shemona Esrei, right? And if you really want to know what that Tal is, okay, I did once with you how to write all of the letters, the names of God. There's ways to spell out the names of God. One is the 72. Anyways, if you spell out the name of God, meaning each letter, it's not as Yud K Vav K, but if you spell out each letter, here's the magic pens. If you spell out each letter like this, if I write Yud K Vav K here, Yud, of course I pick a pen that doesn't work. Okay, let's say you have the Yud, but the Yud is a sound. It is a word on itself because it's representing a letter. It's a name of a letter, right? So if I spell out the letter Yud, that's it. So there's 3 letters there. If I spell out the next letter, like this, with a Hey and a Yud, that's 2 letters. Then I spell out another letter, that's Vav. In other words, I say the word Vav, it's a name of a letter. And then I say the last one, which is a Hey, right? So if I add up the letters, it ends up being 10 letters. Okay? There's basically 3 sets of this. There's another way I write out the name of God. That is called Sag. Okay, I won't get into that. I might have gotten into it before with some of y'all. All right? And then there's another one called Ma. Of course, the pen is fading. Let's try another one. Okay? And this is spelled, I put a dot in between, Hey Aleph. This is Vav Aleph Vav. And then there is Hey Aleph. And then there's the final one, which is Yud. gets tricky. Hey, just a, vav and hey, okay? If I add up, basically, these are the 4 ways to spell out God's name. In other words, God's name is really the first 4 letters of each one of these, right? But there's different ways to spell it out in our tradition. This is called 72, 63, 45, and this is 52. We won't get into the numerical sequence, but if you just count the letters, just to let you know, it ends up being 39, okay? 10, 20, 39. 39 is the gematria of Tal. When we say Morid HaTal, we're saying a lot more. Okay? And this is the Tal that is going to revive the dead. It's energies. As we're going to see here, and we're seeing here already. When God expressed himself, it was an energy. It's not just a word. Okay? That's the heavy thing. So this word that he expresses goes above to the mountains of balsam, right? And it gets there, and it becomes infused with that dew from above, and that's the dew that is responsible for the revival of the dead. That we know in the revival of the dead, there'll be a dew that will make all of the dead come back to life in the end of days. Okay? It comes from this tal. Okay? All right. Vishtavavu hutala le'ela. Okay. Aschar b'sachranehon de Yisroel, and it goes around. Went out. This word also then flew all around the Jewish people. But tavas behon nishmason, and it returned each one their soul. Va'aschar u'mizgalfan be'asrei beluche avna, and then this is an interesting thing, enough. Then it went and became engraved in the tablets. V'chein kol mila v'mila, each and every word. So this is an interesting thing. So you see right here, interesting thing. Again, Hashem utters the word. It goes all around, right? Above, below, all 4 directions of the world, ascended, descended. When it ascended, it went to the certain place in the spiritual realm, and it was infused with the dew. Then it circled around Israel, restoring their souls. And then it circled and engraved itself in its place on the tablets of stone. And so it was with every single word.
So when it says it circled around Israel, it means the people of Israel, not Israel, the physical piece of land that we know.
No, not the land of Israel, no, the people.
Just the people.
So here, there's, obviously what it is here is there's a relationship here of the souls to what is engraved on the tablets. What is engraved, what that word was, that the same word that revived the Jewish people is the same word that ended up being on the tablet itself. So the source of our revival, or the source of our life force, is in those letters that are on the table, the tablets. And a letter is not just a letter, okay, as we see. Okay? Go. Next page, 462. Reb Shimon said, every word was filled with all those meanings, with all those elements, decrees, rewards, and punishments, mysteries, and secrets. Each and every word. A word is, every time I think and every time I give a class on the letters, the Hebrew letters, okay, they're energies. We know that the Torah is the blueprint of creation. God looked into the Torah and made the world. The Torah is made up of letters. So the building block of the Torah was letters. And they're not just letters. We look at them as an energy field. They are energies. When Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Egyptian man in Egypt, he didn't strangle him like Vincent Price in the movie. Okay? He didn't fall off a scaffold like Prince of Egypt. He said a name of God. He said energies. He said letters with the right intention in mind. And with that intention in mind, he killed the Egyptian man.
The right letter sequencing.
The right letter sequencing with the right intention in mind, and the belief in the power of the letter. That's people don't believe in the power of the letter. Okay? So the right sequencing, right, and the right energy. Listen, Ella Fitzgerald can break a glass, right, with a tone, right? They did it. They did it on MythBusters. I don't know how or when or I saw it. You know, it was traveling somewhere, and all of a sudden, I think someone showed me the Mythbusters, and they actually were doing the test if exactly a sound can break a glass, and they did prove it. They got a rock star. Okay, they had to get somebody around. I guess Ella Fitzgerald wasn't available. Right? What can you do? Okay, so sorry. Okay, the dude didn't hit her. Okay, so in any case, though, so they actually tested it. So letters are very powerful. The Torah is very powerful. The influence that brought us back at Mount Sinai, because all our souls were at Mount Sinai, it was the same letter that went and rested on the tablet. Okay, it wasn't just a hocus pocus thing. There's a relationship here. Okay, and now he's saying that these letters. I just wanted to get the Hebrew here. Okay, I didn't have a chance to look at the Hebrew before. Okay, each and every milah was filled with all of these ta'aman, these ta'amim. It was filled with all of the reasons of the Torah. In other words, within it, it was locked or concealed each and every reason of the Torah. Each and every word which it that it explains itself. In other words, it has a life of its own. And all of the gezeros and all of the fences of the rabbis are included also in all those words. All of the reward of the mitzvahs, right, from the chesed, and the punishments, in other words, the consequences for anybody who transgresses a mitzvah. V'razin, stimin, and the hidden understandings, right, all of the secrets, all hidden, like in a treasure, like in this treasure, which is filled from all types of good things. That's in each and every word, okay? When a word issued, it seemed to be one, but it was engraved in its place. 70 branches appeared in that word, rising within it, and 50 crowns, minus one on this side, and 50 minus one on that side. This is, like a hammer striking a rock. As it is said, like a hammer shattering rock. So in other words, there's lots of things that are coming out of that letters. It's not just a letter. It's an experience. Okay? 50 and 50. Why do we have 50 crowns minus 1 and 50 crowns minus 2 the other side? Okay? Let me see what he says here.
Because it was a miracle that the letter that was engraved on one side was the exact same letter on the other side, not the mirror image on the other side. It was like the tablets, either way you look at them, where.
So it was definitely a multi-dimensional
exactly.
Something from another. So he says here, if you look at the note 343, he says 70 branches is a play on 70 faces of the Torah. Now the image of 49 crowns derives from the 49 aspects of impure and the 49 aspects of pure in the Torah. Namely, there's 49 ways by which something can be proven impure. They all say this all the time. It's all throughout the Talmud that this guy was able to make something pure with 49 different reasons. Or this person was able to make something impure with 49 different reasons. Okay? In other words, it's a way to deduce things. Okay? So it says here on the 70 faces of the Torah, it brings down in Bamidbar Rabbah in the Midrash, where Torah is compared to Yayin. Yayin is the gematria of 70. Just as Yayin, right, equals 70. So Torah assumes 70 faces. Okay? So we see here the number 70, where it can come from in all these branches, because basically we know that each word of Torah has 70 ways, what we'll call 70 faces. Okay? Israel saw going on in the text here. Israel saw eye to eye and rejoiced. And all later generations were present there. All of them receiving the Torah on Mount Sinai, as it is written, but on page 463 now. Okay. Yeah. But with whoever is here standing with us today, and whoever is not here, all of them, every single one, fittingly, all of them. I gotta get some water. I got it. Okay. All of them receiving the Torah Mount Sinai, as we know, all of the souls were there, as it is written. But with whoever is standing here today, this is in Parshas Yaakov, and whoever is not here with us today, Moshe Rabbeinu gathered everybody the day after he came down from Har Sinai. He did a special gathering, okay, to make another what we call a bris, okay. So here, it's interestingly enough, that Moshe declares to the Israelites, not with you alone do I seal this covenant, another situation, and this oath, but with whoever is standing with us today before Yud Kei Vav Kei, and whoever is not here with us today. According to Midrashic interpretation, Moses is actually describing the revelation at Sinai and indicating that the souls of all future generations are also present, even though physically they are not here with us today. As we all have handed down, and we all do know that the Torah, that all of our souls were at Sinai. Okay? And Emir Hashem, if we build up to it, some of you weren't in my classes recently, that we counting the Omer here, and then the counting the Omer, and we're leading up to Mount Sinai, and that's why we're trying to prepare this somewhat, at least to explore a little bit, that we're, Mount Sinai that we're facing today could be, we say that the year is like a spiral, right? Every single year that same energy is dispensed, is open, a window. So here we're coming to the holiday of the giving of the Torah. It's not a commemoration. What we're going to try to do, what we're attempting to do every year, would be to align ourselves and hook in to that energy. That there should be an unbelievable, the most unbelievable awakening ever occurred on that day, every year. So the potential is there for us every single day on that year to have an unbelievable awakening, as what happened on that, and this is exactly what's going on here. As we see, the people were revived, so also that same energy is available for us every single year on Shavuot. Okay, as well as what he's saying here. That here, all of them, every single one, fittingly, all of them seeing and receiving the words. Everybody heard it. It's in everybody's neshama. Okay? Going on, why does it say the word Elokim? Because that's what the verse says. It says, Vayedaber Elokim, it's called Hadivrei Ha'ela, right? Elokim implies the midah, the quality of Gevura. Gevura, as we know, right, is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th sphera down of the 10 sphirot, and is represented by power, discipline, right, strength, delineation.
So you're counting
Boom.
that as the 4?
1, 2, 3. No, I counted Keter. Haha. Keter Chachma Bina, Chesed, Tiferet. Okay, Chesed. Keter, wait a minute. Keter, Chachma, Bina, Chesed, Gevura, 5th. Okay? Okay, 8. Why is the word 8 there? The word in the pasuk says, Vayedaber Elokim 8. 8, as we know, doesn't really have a translation. Most people translate it as the, but we know, in my books, there's no translation for it. But we do know mystically it means Aleph through Taf. It's a what do we call it? A scale. Not a scale, a spectrum.
It's the first thing that God created.
Aleph through Taf, for sure. Or was it Taf through Aleph?
No,
Okay.
He created them all at the same time. Then, upon deciding
Who's he's going to begin with them? They all had. He started with Taf first.
Yeah, Taf was the first one to show up for the interview.
Who gave him? How did he get the memo before everybody else?
No, everybody got the memo. He just showed up before. So they showed up actually.
It's amazing how they showed up in exactly reverse order
Exactly.
for the interview.
Yeah.
God was deciding which letter am I going to start the Torah with.
Right, like you didn't know.
So he's got an interview. He interviewed. Every single letter came and said, "I'm the greatest. You know it. I have this letter. The word this starts with this letter." And he goes, "No, but you have this other stinky word, so get out." Right? And Sheker comes, Shin comes, Shin is a great letter. Shin is Sheker, lie, get out. And Kuf, right? All of a sudden, right? Each one until bait comes and says, "I got bracha. I got bracha. What's wrong with the little bracha?" He says, "Bracha is perfect. We will take you. You got the job." And poor Olive is sitting out there. Didn't even get a chance. If bait comes out with a piece of paper, "I got the job. I got the job." Right? And Olive goes, "Okay." So Olive said, "You were quiet. You're going to be my letter. You're going to be the symbol, the first of the Aleph Beit, in the order of the Aleph Beit, right?
He made it the captain of the letters.
The first of the letter, and it's most silent, the most sublime, and it always represents God, Aleph.
It also represents Aleph.
Right, right, which is Alufo Shel Olam, master of the world, you know?
To me, it's a way to explain why God is here and everywhere. So if it's here, it brings it to a unity. It brings to a lesser amount.
Yes.
And Aleph has 3 zeros. And every time you say, for example, etc., is represented by 3 points, right? So it's how can one letter signify both coming into a unity and contracting into a unity,
And yet
also
expanding at the same
expanding.
time. Wonderful.
So that's
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. This Khalil B'Yamina. Okay, so what is et? 8. The word 8 means that it is included from the right. Just like we have taught when it says 8 Hashamayim. when in the very first verse of Bereshit it says, right? Bereshit bara Elokim 8 Hashamayim 8 Haaretz. So use the word 8 again there. This word 8 is a very, very deep word. Okay? I like to use it sometimes. It's like an arrow, right? This. But it has, like I say, Aleph through Tuf, so it has the entire spectrum. It's a spectrum. You don't know what's in there. Aleph through Tuf implies entire all of creation. Okay? Why does it have to say 8 all the time? And it says 8 all the time. Actually, there was a rabbi who was actually going through every single 8 in the Torah. Rabbi Akiva. He says, he was expounding every single 8 that is including something else. Until he got to one verse, he didn't know what to include, so he scrapped the whole project. Bah! But then somebody came and revived it. Okay? It was Ve'ahavta 8 Hashem Elokecha. It says you shall love Hashem, your God. And it says the word 8 there. Ve'ahavta 8 Hashem Elokecha. 8? What could 8 include? What else should you love besides God? How could it be something else, right?
with everything.
No, the 8 has to include something else. And is it possible? Right? Or maybe it was 8 Hashem Tira. I don't know if it was V'ahavta 8 or it was 8 Hashem Tira. Fear God. You should fear God. Right? So finally they say, no. Somebody came and revived him and says, no. It includes Talmidei Chachamim, scholars. You should love scholars. Okay? Love and fear scholars. So, okay. I don't think they still, I think once he scrapped the project, I don't think he brought it back. He says, okay, that was a good save there, buddy boy, but I don't think we're going to put it on the table. Okay? He kind of left it hanging. Okay, in any case, the word 8 here is including from the right, which means chesed, just like what it says 8 Hashamayim in the very first verse of Genesis. And God created the heavens, right? The Ihu Yamina, that's called right, the heavens, because the heavens are rachamim, or compassion. Ve'eta Aretz, the word the land. He created the land. That is the left. We call that the left. As we know, the left is always associated with the forces of judgment, the forces, right, of constriction. The left is always, the weaker, as the right, and because earth, we'll call earth in relationship to heaven is more like the ground, okay?
It's the lower.
Af yadi yazdav eretz v'mine tipcha shamayim. So he says here, just like what it brings down, my own hand founded earth, and my right hand spread out heaven. My own hand, which was et. All these words encompassing other crowns. What does it mean, other crowns? Other sfirot, thank you. Meaning other guiding forces. Words. Words meaning what? Linked to one another. Okay? all these words, what is these meaning? All those meanings, all those mystery, all those secrets, rewards, and punishments, saying, to be a heritage for all, as it is written, Torah did Moses command us, a heritage for the assembly of Jacob. Now you might say to reveal what must not be revealed to everyone. Well, it is written, I am Hashem your God. Just as I am hidden and concealed, so should these words be hidden and concealed in your heart. Sounds like here is what we call a havamina, or an assumption. The assumption seems to be saying that these divine words, right, including all of the esoteric meanings, should be revealed to others. Okay, you might assume that, right? But it is not so. However, the next verse implies that just as God is hidden, so should the deepest meaning of his words remain hidden in the minds of those who know. So here we have the idea, the concept of we don't reveal every single thing. Sometimes things are above people, right? So whatever mystery, sometimes you have a secret and you're not supposed to reveal a secret. I know there's many people who've died because they revealed secrets they shouldn't have revealed. There was once a story, I think it was Rabbi, I don't know if it was Rabbi the Arizal or Rabbi Shimon, was once teaching his group, and all of a sudden he taught them something very deep, and then a bird came and flew and gawked something, but the Arizal knew what it meant. And they asked him what was the bird saying, and he says, well, that one of my kids is going to die because I just revealed to you this secret. Don't go figure. I don't understand things, but some things are not meant to be revealed in certain situations. I do know one thing, that when my father-in-law, he comes to me in a dream a lot, he doesn't speak. And he was also showed in my wife's dreams. And for some reason, at least he was able to tell my wife in the dream, they don't give me permission to speak. And you can't break the rules of heaven. It's not like down here, I do what I want. No, you can't do it, right? Over there, when it's no permission, it's no permission. Right? No. Right? A no is a no, and that's it. Okay? Okay. V'yamina dahu eight kol liklalal kol shar kitrin ut hadvarim iskashrim dabaza ha'ele kol inun ta'min kol inin razin. Okay, we read this. So just like you would think that maybe you would reveal it all of the secrets. No, the next commandment teaches us what? That just like God, right, is hidden and concealed in this world, so should these words should be concealed in your heart. Alternatively, another explanation of the word of why Elohim, God spoke. Eis kol hadavrim ha'ele lemor. God spoke all of these words to say. All of these words saying, look. Eis kol hadavrim ha'ele lemor. That's 5 words. Okay? 5 others. What does it mean by 5 others? The opening 2 words, I'm looking at the note 351. The opening 2 words of the verse refer to one sphera, apparently Bina. The subsequent 5 words allude to the 5 other sphirot. Perhaps Chesed through Hod. He says perhaps, because it's not clear. And the reference to the 5 voices above, the 5 voices, is amazing. Okay? The 5 voices, it says the Torah was given in 5 voices. So there's a couple of explanations to that. They say if a person, by the way, in the Gemara it says if you go to a wedding and you just eat at the wedding, and you don't misameach the chatan and kala, you don't make them happy, then he is over the 5 voices that the Torah was given in. What? What's the connection? Right? If a person goes to a wedding and he does not make the bride and groom happy, that's according to each one's abilities or whatever. You don't have to stand on your head and do weird dances. Okay? You just go and say a mazel tov, and you just show up and make sure that they know you're okay at the right time. Right? Not when they're eating dinner. Leave them alone when they're eating dinner. Don't come up to them when you're eating, like what they did to me. I didn't get to eat my dinner. Whole wedding flew by. Never got to eat the dinner. Okay? Never got. Thank God I didn't have to fast that day. Okay? usually most bridegrooms have to fast the day of the wedding, right?
The brides do too.
Brides and grooms have to fast the day of the wedding. And here they want to eat. And yet everybody's lining up. Mazel tov, Mazel tov, give me a bracha. I give you a bracha. And I give you, and they're all lining up. Finally, I went to a wedding where there was actually a guard positioned in front, going, no, 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 no. Stopping people. Right? Because we just want to say goodbye, say hello.
Not now.
Let them eat. Thank you. Okay? In any case, if a person goes to a wedding and does not make the bride and groom happy, then they're over the 5 voices that the Torah was given. The Torah was given in 5 voices. So now I'll explain real simply how it brings down in the Maharsha and the Gemara that really there are 5 places where letters are cut from in the mouth. There's a kol, there's a voice, there's your ah sound, but then there's 5 different places in your mouth where, and those are the 5 different the 5 different letters. Right? There are labial letters that come from the lips. There are dental letters which come through the teeth, like shin. Right? And then there's letters that are on the tongue, labial, right? I think that, I'm not sure. Guttural letters, right? So there's different, ayin, right? Ayin, right? And so certain letters come from a place down here. In other words, there's 5 different places where letters come out. Boof, dot, lock, right? Forgot it. Anyways, brings down in Sefer Yetzirah, right? There's 5 different places where the letters are cut. Okay? Still, okay, great. There's 5 different places where letters are cut. What does that have to do with Chassan and Kala? I should just pose this question to you at this point, and you come up with an answer. Why, if a person does not make the bride and groom happy at a wedding, is over the 5 voices the Torah is given? Ma kesher. Sorry. That means, what's the connection? What is the connection? Come on, guys. Give me an answer. It doesn't say it here. No. Obviously, the Chassan and Kala is a husband and wife, is obviously the Jewish people and Hashem. Right? Shavuot is the wedding day. Shavuot is the wedding day. It's a big wedding, right? And if a person doesn't make the bride and groom happy, right? When it's almost like a micro of the big wedding day, right? So what does he do? In the whole source of all the weddings, I would like to say, be so bold as to say at this point, that really, of course, there were weddings before Mount Sinai, but, once Mount Sinai set a different pace, a different situation, a different arrangement for weddings since Sinai. You know that. Actually, it's really true. When Moshe Rabbeinu came down, there were new laws of arayos, of gilui arayos. Aunts could not marry nephews from then on, while before, aunts could marry nephews, for example. Okay? So here's the new stage, the new set, the new procedure for weddings starts there, from then on, in creation. So that all weddings stem from there. It's the root of all weddings. So if you are at this wedding here, and you don't make the bride and groom happy, there's something wrong in the root. Okay? In other words, it affects the root. Okay? You have transgressed the 5 voices that the Torah was given. Interestingly enough, obviously these 5 voices, or this, how does he use it here? All these words saying. And all of these words, right? Elohim is one name of God, or one sphira. Eis kol hadavrim ha'ela lemor are these other 5, we'll call it the 5 other forces. In other words, in order to complete the wedding, the completion of the wedding has to be with joy and gladness. And this is a part, I would say, be so bold to say right now, that these simple words that you see here are all part of that, the 5 others. But we'll see more of it later on, okay? Skip down to the next page, 465. Go to the next page. It says at the very top, Rabbi Yitzchak said, why was the Torah given in fire and darkness? Actually, there's another page where it says white fire with black fire. Okay? Why was the Torah given in fire and darkness? But here we're going to look at it as just the simple way that we understand it. When the Torah was given, right, there was smoke, right? There was darkness. As it is written, the mountain was burning with fire to the heart of the heavens. Darkness, cloud, and dense fog. Okay? How do we look at it? Let me look at it here. V'hahar bo'er bo'esh ad lev hashamayim choshech anan v'arafel. Okay, these are the three klipo. Okay?
19623.
Choshech, anan v'arafel.
Yes.
To kol man dishtadel bo'raisa ishtazev me'esha acharad de gehinnom. To teach us what? Why was it given in fire and darkness? To teach us that anybody who makes effort in the Torah is saved from the other fire of Gehenna. It's known, though. It's known, by the way. Okay? It's a very dynamic principle here. When you say that a person who osek in Torah, who deals in Torah, is saved from the other fire of Gehenna, it's literal. It really is. They say in the laws of Gilgulim, of reincarnation, that even if a person learned Torah, the fire of Gehenna cannot touch him. Hashem is going to reincarnate him even up to 1,000 times to fix what he needs to fix, instead of putting him through Gehenna. And he learned that, actually, the Arizal spoke that about Elisha ben Abuya. Elisha, who became the biggest heretic of all, huge heretic. Elisha was one of the four who entered into the Pardes, the certain meditative depth of the Torah, right? They were trying to do a rectification, an unbelievable thing to speed the redemption, end evil. Of course, for these four sages that went in, only one came out, and who was Rabbi Akiva. The other ones, one died, one went crazy, and one became a heretic, and that was Elisha. Elisha became a huge heretic. So it's known about him in tradition that he didn't go to Gehenna, even though I know everybody here would probably see such a guy. You got to go to Gehenna. Why? They would curse him out. No, the fires of Torah, the fires of Gehenna cannot touch one who has learned Torah, who learns Torah. Can't touch. Okay. So Hashem says they would rather him reincarnate 1,000 times to fix what he needs to fix than go to Gehenna. Because usually it's a 3-strike rule, Hashem, for a real wicked guy. Hashem usually will give him 3 chances, 3 lifetimes. And after 3 lifetimes, if he's just a complete screw-up, right, and each one of those lifetimes, he'll say, okay, well, let's just take whatever good deeds he did, thank God. He did some good deeds. We'll preserve them in his account, but we got to clean up his schmutz. So we're going to send him to Gehenna to clean the schmutz, and then he'll go and he'll have his reward of the mitzvahs that he did do. You know, there are accounts that don't touch each other, right? They don't cancel. The positive doesn't, or the negative doesn't cancel the positive. It doesn't work that way. Hashem takes every good deed and his treasure. It's unbelievable. Kaval. Okay, we got to fix the bad deeds.
But the negatives have to be clean.
You got to, because it's going to affect the person's ability to receive the light. So he sends the guy to Gehenna. But like Elisha, but a person who learns Torah is saved from the fires of Gehenna. It's an interesting idea. Why was the Torah given in fire and darkness? Just to teach you this, okay? Whoever engages in Torah is saved from another fire and from the darkness with which the other nations blacken Israel. This is an interesting one. For by the merit of Abraham, Israel has been saved from the fire of hell. As we have learned, the Blessed Holy One said to Abraham, as long as your children engage in Torah, they will be saved from these. That means Eish Shel Gehenna. But if not, they will be saved from these, meaning the nations. But if not, here is the fire of hell that will have dominion over them, and they will be subjugated among the nations. In other words, if they don't follow the Torah, if they don't engage in Torah, they get 2 things. You get Gehenna and subjugated by the nations. Abraham says back to him, with 2 knots, words are not erected. Okay? Interesting phrase. Well, how do you understand such a phrase? Okay? With 2 knots, words are not erected. Rather, if it pleases you, let them be saved from the fire of hell and be subjugated among the nations until they return to you. So here's Avraham. He was able to make a deal with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Right? I don't understand really his language of the 2 knots here. Seems like, what? You're tying them on both sides or something, right?
2 knots could be 2 words.
Words are not erected, okay?
It's like when he was explaining with 1 block. With 2 blocks, you can make 2 houses.
Yeah, that's in, right?
Yeah, in Sefer Yetzirah.
Right. Ha nor de gehenim shalta b'hu v'ishta'adun beine amamaya amar le bitrei kiture lo mizdakfan milim. He says, Shayu Yisrael kashurim b'shnei anuyim. You're going to bind Israel with 2 inuyim, 2 afflictions. That is the fire of Gehenna and the darkness of the nations. They will not be able, lo yakumu hadvarim. They will not be able to establish your words. In other words, they're not going to be able to keep the Torah in such punishment, right? Ki yevshar la'amod behem. You can't stand in both of them. Rather, what? If it pleases you, let them be saved from the fire of Gehenna, but yet let the nations go ahead and put them in a servitude until they do tshuva. Okay? So he replied, Hashem replied, that is certainly fine, as it is written, unless their rock had sold them. Who is their rock? That is Abraham. For it is written, look to the rock from which you were hewn. We come from Abraham. He's considered to be the rock from which we came from. And Yud-Kei Vav-Kei had given them up. The Holy One, blessed be He who agreed with him. He agreed with Abraham to make such a deal. Bottom line, the Torah was given with fire and darkness. Why? That somebody who toils with it is saved from that. In other words, bad scene, here's the remedy. Okay? Weiter. Rabbi Yehuda said, right, 466? Is that we wrote the right page? Yes, 466, a little bit more. From the day that Israel went out of Egypt until the day the Torah was given, 50 days elapsed. Why? We always want to know. Okay. Here's the source. Rabbi Yehuda said, because of those years of Jubilee. Interesting. We didn't get the Jubilee year yet. We didn't get to Eretz Yisrael yet. The Jubilee year is counting 7 sets of 7 years until the 50th year. So what does he call it? It's still called Yovel. Okay? You shall hallow the 50th year. So there's a big thing about 50. It has been taught, Rabbi Shimon said, this is what's an interesting phrase here. That Jubilee brought Israel out of Egypt. Huh? What's that? That Jubilee brought Israel out of Egypt. What do you mean? The year? A 50th year? The concept of the 50th year. The concept of 50. What is that concept of 50? Okay? Now, if you say Jubilee herself, rather, it was from the aspect of Jubilee. You can't say it's the Jubilee itself by the fact that, let's say, look at a shot at a simple level. A simple level, you say, okay, the people were taken out of Egypt on the merit that they would keep the Jubilee year. Okay? You can say that. Okay? But it seems to be, they don't want to say that kind of answer. They want to say, no, it's the concept. When we say aspect of Jubilee, we're saying there's a certain energy of Jubilee. From the energy of Jubilee, judgment aroused upon the Egyptians. Therefore, these 50 days were of the Jubilee. What does it say in the note here? According to tradition, Israel departed from Egypt on the 15th of Nisan and received the Torah on the 6th of Sivan, spanning a period of 50 days. Rabbi Yehuda explains that these 50 days correspond to the 50 years of the Jubilee. Rabbi Shimon indicates that Jubilee designates Bina. It is the sphere of Bina, who brought Israel out of Egypt. So that's really what it means. We said that there's 10 sphirot, right? There's Keter, that's crown. There's Chachma, there's wisdom. And then there's the third sphere, which is Bina, right? We say that these 10 sphirot are Hanhagot. They're the guiding force, how God guides the world. Which guiding force was the force God implemented or used as a garment, as an expression to bring the people out of Egypt. It is called Bina. It is called the Sphera of understanding. So actually, Bina did not act it directly. Rather, it was judgment, which is beneath Bina, issuing from her and appearing through Shekhinah, attacked the Egyptians and liberated the Israelites. So according to the Bible, every seventh year is a sabbatical, during which the land was lie fallow, and at the end of which all debts are remitted. After 7 sabbaticals comes the Jubilee, proclaimed every 50 years, when slaves are released and land reverts to its original owner. So you see here the energy of of Jubilee, as an energy to release slaves. Okay? In Kabbalah, the Jubilee symbolizes Bina, who in general is characterized by the number 50 based on the Babylonian Talmud. Okay? 50 gates of Bina, right, which is understanding, were created in all the world, all of which were given to Moses except for one. As it says, you made him little less than God. As Jubilee, Bina actually really, according to Rabbi Yaakov Yosef Polonia, right, he brings down that when Moshe reached the 49th level and he reached the 50th level, it was just number 1 from another 49, okay? It didn't stop, okay? As Jubilee, Bina is the source of liberation, including the liberation from Egyptian bondage. So on Bina and the Exodus, and the significance of the 50 days, from the Exodus to Sinai, see above, the full verse, okay? Anyways, the idea really is very interesting how the number 50 is a very significant number, okay? I was teaching earlier this week that it's brought down in the days of the Sphera, which is now, we're counting every single day. It says each day is like 8 days in the year. What does that mean? Each day is like 8 days in the year. So I was thinking one idea, and it wasn't right because I read further that there's a chida from Chesed LaAvraham. He says there's a book that says what? You want to have an idea?
So representing the 50 weeks in a year, or
There is. I saw that Perush.
yeah.
That there is. It definitely does affect your whole year, how you behave in these 50 days. It's a powerful period of change. And it works in
We're
waves.
supposed to be growing also in this.
You have to be in tune with the sphere of the day. Rabbi Nachman says the sphere are calling to us every single. The energy of each day is speaking to us, and we have to listen to it. And usually you can hear it in ordinary conversation of ordinary people if you pay attention, and you can gain something of the energy of that day. But the important thing really is, he says here, that if a person does something for 400 days, he loses his free will. 400 days. If a person does something for 400 days, he loses his free will. It's raining outside, so we might as well chill. Keep going, right? Okay, so if a person does something for 400 days, so he loses his free will. That's astounding.
Positive.
Yes,
Yes.
in this sense it
because
is.
Yes, it is, because that means that the person has integrated this new thing that he's doing for 400 straight days. It becomes part of him. And so he's not, you don't have to fight it anymore. You don't
Right.
have to, so he's gotten used to it. It becomes part of him doing something.
Yes. So, I don't know why 400, okay? But definitely we see in the 50 days between Passover to Shavuot, and each day is equivalent to 8 days, so therefore if what you do in these 50 days between Passover to Shavuot is like 400 days. In other words, if you can develop a habit, a new habit, a change, a habit, simple.
Yeah.
And I'm always what's told by all of the great, pick something simple that you can do consistently. Now, we're already in the middle, but that doesn't mean that we're still in the beginning of the first, we finished one wave, but you can catch the next wave. The way it works is in waves, okay? There's 3, 3, and then 1, okay? Like the first 3 sfirot, which is Chesed, Gevura, and Tiferet, we finished. And now we're starting
That's a
with
wave.
Netzach, Hod, Yesod. It's the same way. It works in waves.
Waves, because it
It goes like
represents
this.
a wave,
No,
right?
they go like this, right? I didn't do it here.
Yeah, you
Okay.
did it last time.
Right? Yeah, it works in waves.
Yeah, it's a wave and a wave.
If I go like this, right? This is Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet. That's one way. And then you have Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. That's another way. And then you'll have Malchut. So it works in waves. So even if you can't, you can hop in whenever you got to hop in. The idea really is that what you do in these days is like doing 400 days. If you're consistent for 50, you've done something for 400 days. You have now gained another level where you don't have a battle with it anymore. You've lost your free will for the positive. It's not a fight. What?
It's become a habit.
It's become a strong habit. Right? Anyway, so let's go back here. Since it's raining outside and we have time, we might as well turn on the heat and light a fire. Okay? Pass the
Not in darkness.
Pass the brandy. Okay? So we said that Jubilee brought Israel out of Egypt. Now if you say Jubilee herself, rather no, it was an aspect of Jubilee. It's the energy of Jubilee. The energy of Jubilee, really from Jubilee, was created judgment which was aroused upon the Egyptians. Therefore these 50 days were of Jubilee. It has been taught. Correspondingly, the judgments against Egypt and all those praises are mentioned 50 times in the Torah. So that's where we really get it from. In other words, if you go to Torah, it says, who has brought you out of the land of Egypt. It's 50 times written that. He brought you out, for with a strong hand he brought you out, brought you out, brought you out, brought you out of Egypt is written 50 times in the Chumash. And so the energy of 50, okay? All those times amount to 50 and no more, since all is adorned with the energy we call Jubilee. And from the aspect of Jubilee comes all. What does it mean, come all? What does it mean, come all? That's pretty bold.
Judgments against Egypt and all those praises, 50 times.
Yeah. These 50 references to Egypt correspond to the 50 years of the Jubilee and the 50 gates of Bina, who is the source of all liberation. Actually, the Exodus is referred to more than 50 times in the Torah. But according to one enumeration, there are 50 instances in which God says to remind Israel of the Exodus. Okay? All right. All those times amount to 50 and no more, since all is adorned with Jubilee, and from Jubilee comes all. Therefore, Torah, which comes in Gevura, is adorned with the right. Because it comes from Elohim. It's not Yud Kei Vav Kei. Right? The phrase here that we're looking at is that the idea, the concept is Vayedaber Elohim et kol hadvarim ha'eleh. Hashem spoke all of these words. Okay? And it's Elohim. Therefore, Torah which comes in Gevurah is adorned with the right. It is written from his right hand, a fiery law for them. Interesting. So he says it comes from the right. Therefore, Torah which comes in Gevurah is adorned with the right. Okay? Because it brings...
The Torah was given by Gevurah.
No, its essence is Gevurah, but it was given with his right hand.
The left was balanced by the right.
Yeah, the left was balanced by the right. It has been taught. There were 5 voices. All of them appeared in them. Blending with them, adorned with this. What does that mean? 361. I can't
There
even...
were 5 voices issuing at Sinai.
The continuation here may mean all of the 10 commandments symbolizing 10 sefirot appeared in these voices. Blending with them, adorned with Bina. On the Torah being given in 5 voices based on simple reference to voice, right? You got to see Talmud Bracha 6b. Okay. That's what I said. We're going to a wedding feast and not making the bride and groom happy. Okay. Rabbi Shimon said, when Israel received the Torah, this Jubilee crowned the Blessed Holy One with its crowns, like a king was crowned amidst his army. As it is written, O daughters of Zion, come out and gaze upon King Solomon, upon the crown with which his mother crowned him. Who is his mother? This is Jubilee. And Jubilee was crowned with joy and perfection, as it is written, a joyous mother of children. With a joyous mother of children. Rabbi Shimon said, this is Jubilee. Rabbi Yehuda said, of this it is written, your father and your mother will rejoice. Okay. Let's stop now. I didn't get to the black fire, white fire, though. That was an amazing thing about the black fire, white
Let's
fire.
read from the right and the left.
There was a Barditcheva Rebbe who said that, we see in the scroll black letters on a parchment, a white parchment.
Yeah.
But really, there's a completely other way to see the scroll, which is the white letters that are around the black. But we don't know how to read it. But in the end of days, when Messiah comes, we'll know how to read it. It'll be a
Is there
completely
anywhere
different
in
message.
here-
It was like, dude, it was right there. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there